All right, and we're live. I'm here with Mathilde. That's right, Mathilde. Yep. We're here doing a typology interview. She's particularly interested in the sensory versus intuition coin. So if you guys have some thoughts on that, be sure to fill out the form at the end and let her know what you think. So how's it going there, Mathilde?
It's going warmly. It's 4
Yeah.
in the afternoon. It's a warm summer afternoon, and it's amazing, but it's warm.
Yeah, looks like you're sitting right by a window. You got some strong light on you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we managed to have to be both during daytime. It's 10 for you. It's 4 p.m. for me. It's
Yep.
still day.
So you're a teacher, but you're on sabbatical right now, right?
Yeah. Let's say that after the lockdown, I think I had actually kind of when I started to work again, it was too hard, and I actually stopped. And anyway, it's not like they were doing still lots of things at the end of the year. And I don't have my class. I only teach for people having special classes, like intensive classes for French or stuff like that. So it's not like I abandon them because I don't have my class.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
So did you have to teach online at all?
Oh, kind of, but it was not super well organized, and so it's more. We didn't even use Zoom. It was more like keeping in touch with the students, and they were doing a few things at home, but it was really like not super well organized. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people were planning for stuff like this to happen, so
yeah.
Everyone's just kind of scrambling to have some semblance of
life is also about learning other things than the thing we learn in school, and maybe they could take this time to learn other things than we learn at school. I don't know, at home.
What kind of things are you talking about? What would you suggest? OP?
Oh, depends. If you can, I don't know. We didn't have a real lockdown for us, so we could still go out if you can. I don't know, go in the garden or help your parents, or being more with your parents. Actually, more time with the people,
Mm-hmm.
because we tend to be like so much. Everyone having all the activities and no one actually spending real time together. I'm a huge fan of like the love language of the time. Spending time together. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're talking about like the 5 love languages, like quality time, I think is what they call that one. Yeah. Yes. So are you quarantined with certain people? I guess you're not quarantined anymore, right?
You said, no, I'm a free as a bird.
Okay. But who are you living with now? Are you living with your family?
So yeah, remind me, I have to go at 5 a.m. I'm visiting my sister. And otherwise, actually, I'm so much like, I don't know if some people are in the same case than me, but sometimes I'm wondering myself if I kind of have this Asperger, how do you say it in English? Asperger? Like spectrum things, because I definitely, like, for me, like being in the like I spend more and more time alone, I see. Since 1 year, something like that, it's like if before I was like, like going out a lot, like seeing people and everything. But lately, so I'm 32 years old, by the way. Mm-hmm. Lately, like since 1 year, I don't know, I enjoy so much just being home, doing my stuff. Like, I don't know, it can be like being on internet, rest, take a little walk outside, like simple, easy stuff. And I don't know, I'm so much like enjoying it. And yeah, sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, am I normal? Because like I'm not like really seeing lots of people anymore. I mean, also like quality. I also like narrow down like my relationship. So I think I see like less people, but maybe like more like quality, the quality of the relationship. And maybe it's a natural process when you get older, but no, not everyone is doing it. For some people it's like super easy, this whole like, like socializing things, like, going in a bar with your friends and everything. But it used to be like that for me, like, when I was a teenager, I was like lots going in the bar and everything, and like it was super important. But more and more I can see that I'm not in all these social things anymore.
So you just kind of like realized one day that you're just not doing that as much anymore?
I realized one day that's like just like staying in your fucking room, like alone, and doing your stuff is amazing.
Right. So you don't need all the people anymore.
Kind of. I was kind of needy, actually. Yeah, maybe just like maybe it was like fulfilling something. Yeah, and like empty, or I don't know how to say, like trying to get some. Yeah, trying to be fulfilled. Make sense? By others.
Mm-hmm. Right. But you're learning to fill up your own cup.
That's the word.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So do you have like, it sounds like your group of friends is getting like smaller and potentially tighter. Is there like a best friend that you have?
More like that, yeah.
Yeah. Just like one
But
best friend, or?
yeah, like this kind of people that stick to their relationship, like they have their same friends then since kindergarten. I'm not like that. Yeah, you're like that. So yeah, it's amazing and I admire and everything, but I don't know why. For a reason, maybe it's this seek for new thing. I have like I had since I was at school, like a small girl, a kid. I remember like like you are 2 years with the same group of people, and then they change like they mix all the people together, they create a new group of people with a new teacher. It was the way it was done. And I remember like having like the same friend during like 2 years, and then finding a new friend, and like completely forgetting about the old
Yeah.
friend. So I don't know what it showed, but I remember having that since I am a child, like completely like being able to really like get new friends, and it's not a thing difficult for me, like completely like having a new surrounding of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely had that growing up as well, because it's like, how do you keep in touch with friends when you're in school, like elementary school? Like if I'm
Yeah,
on your class, like where are they? I don't know where they are.
yeah,
So
all forgot they
yeah,
exist.
yeah, I definitely had that a lot. But one of the friends that I was talking about, like I have a friend that I met in first grade, so I kept in touch with him through my church. We like went to church together. So
That's
yeah,
different.
so that like kept us as closer friends for a longer time. So that's one of my oldest friends.
Yeah.
But so now that you're not switching classes all the time, how are you like
But
finding new friends to
yeah,
make?
but people don't switch classes anymore. But with the situation, they move a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They get a new job. They go in another town, and they break up. You were a friend with this one because of the relationship. They break up,
Mm-hmm.
and I have this feeling like everything is so like moving. So it makes things harder, and also I don't know, it's yeah, but I think it's I don't know, but it's also yeah, it's something that happened with with people moving for their job, moving for breaking up and everything, so it makes people like not stay anymore.
Yeah, so things are still just shaking up because of life changes and all that. How do you meet new people then?
Good question. How can you say, like, sometimes, like anyone, like activities, like I was playing ultimate frisbee
Right. Yeah.
and doing some improv, and also I have friends from the university, from a college. What Sometimes also you meet an old friend that you were not so close before, and sometimes you suddenly become closer.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just like the normal way to meet people. Tinder also.
Do you live where you grew up still?
Not far away. I'm like 1 hour by train.
Okay. Yeah, I live kind of far from where I grew up now, so I don't run into old people I knew in high school, which I find that super awkward. It's like I feel like I'm supposed to know you better than I do, so that doesn't feel like a good way to meet friends for me. Oh, did you freeze? No.
Oh, I
Oh
freeze.
no,
No, I my
no,
normal
no,
face.
sorry. No, you're
What do you
just
think?
very still.
Why was it awkward?
I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to remember more things about these people. You know, I was typed as a designer, so I'm weird about people. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, and like yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to remember more things about them. So it's like, oh, what are we supposed to talk about? I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to ask them about something. I don't know. I'm
You
weird.
feel a little bit like with an obligation,
Yeah.
kind of. No, me, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like obligated to keep in touch and everything. I didn't feel even like bad, like leaving this group of friends. Like some of my friends, they really stayed together, and me, I don't know. I felt like being in the same group of friends, you have the same identity. You know how sometimes, so probably you had that when you moved to your new town. When you're in this new town or a new city, or when you're traveling, no one knows you, and it's like if something can emerge from you new, because all the advice like about your identity and the way you behave, it's like so much like, because you're a group of people, I don't know, it's always the same and everything. And that's probably what I enjoy by traveling, by having new friends, like being able to be a new version of myself, actually.
Yeah. That's freeing in a way, right?
It's freeing, it's renewing. Do we say that? It's
Right.
re.
Uh, so you're on sabbatical now from being a teacher, but you're planning to like continue teaching after that?
I definitely love to be hanging around children and teenagers. So it's probably something I consider. Why not also about like I don't know. Maybe something more connected with the sport, the activity, and everything. So I haven't planned yet. Just for the moment, just like I'm not a big planner, so maybe it can give you a tip about my type. So a tip,
Yeah.
how do you say? It can give you an indication about my type. I'm not a big planner, so I know I should plan, but it's more like for now it's more like healing and yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you say you're not a planner, which I'll take your word for it, but why not? Why don't you like to plan?
It's probably so in my everyday life, it's more like I like to see how I feel. For example, some people they schedule to in 2 weeks we are going to meet with this group of people. Let's meet in this bar at 6 p.m. for example.
Hmm.
And me, I have some trouble with that because I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later, I don't feel super well. I feel more like staying alone. I don't know, maybe it's rainy outside. I know I'm more like comfortable if, for example, we write on WhatsApp, for example, hey, who wants to hangs out tomorrow? And I will be like, I'm more like comfortable. I'm more like, hey, yeah, I prefer when it's spontaneous.
Was this interview spontaneous enough for you?
It's okay because because we don't do it often. And yeah, you know, for some time, for some stuff, you have to plan. Like, also that was something super hard with my job. Like, I was doing it, but you know, like being going every day, and oof, you know, like someday you just want to say, I don't feel like going.
Yeah.
I'm not a lazy person. It's just like this whole like routine that is repetition and everything. I know it's hard for everyone, but I think it's a little bit harder for me.
Do you find that when you get there and you start teaching that it's not such a big deal, but sometimes it just feels like difficult to get
It's
going? Or
more about the repetition, the everyday, the waking up every day. I know we don't work. Thanks God, we work. We don't work on Saturday, Sunday, but still, it's more about this. Also, I work as a substitute, so as I said, I don't know if I said it in the other interview, but I work as a substitute. I like the thing, like for example, they call me in the morning and they say, yes, you have to go to this school because someone is sick, the teacher is sick, so you have to replace this teacher. And I feel like it's more like exciting. It's more like, yes, going every day to a new school and meet new people, and that's more like fulfilling for me. But if you go every day with the same people, you can more like build something with the people, with your colleague, with the students. So it also has positive sides, but the negative side is this need for a new that I have.
yeah, I guess I was trying to get into whether it's more a problem with the upfront where you're like, oh man, I'm going to go and have to do the same thing I did yesterday, or if it's like in the moment you really are feeling like this feels so much like yesterday. I'm bored while doing it.
It's no, because the job is always different, because you do always different thing. People are different and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the system. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I guess I was trying to get at whether it's like you're dreading that it's going to be the same, so you're like anticipating that's going to be the same, and therefore you're finding it like
Probably anticipating.
yeah,
Yeah.
or if like when you're in the moment, you're like, this is boring.
No,
So
because on the moment it's always new, because
yeah.
people are new all the time. They react differently and everything. It's more anticipation. Yeah.
So then really it's for you, you kind of need to remind yourself that it is going to be different. Like people aren't going to be the same.
Thanks for the tip. Yeah, thank you.
So yeah. Potential spot where you're getting stuck on something. Probably indicative of type or something like that. So I'm actually turning 30 this year. I wanted to ask you, what'd you do for your 30th birthday?
What would you want to do this year? Sorry.
I'm turning 30 this year. I was asking what you did for your 30th birthday, if you can remember.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan of birthdays, celebrating birthdays.
Okay.
Maybe I will quote Leonard's mom in Big Bang Theory. Maybe I didn't achieve that much this day because it was more my mom achieving something. You know this thing from Big Bang Theory, or no?
I don't know the show too well now.
Okay, because the mom of one of the character didn't celebrate the birthday of the child because she thought he didn't achieve anything. It was her own achievement.
That's funny.
So yeah, and so no, I don't really. I'm not a big fan of my birthday. Maybe I have a difficulty about that being my day. I told you it's something about like self-esteem, or I don't know. We don't celebrate a lot in my family. We don't organize big party and everything. So it's also connected to my family, but it's also connected to me. I'm like, who am I to have this whole party from me? Like, I will be more comfortable having a celebration for, I don't know, like some events. I don't know. Eastern, or the events of like the birthday of someone else, or I don't know, any events, but not my birthday. I don't feel comfortable, and I would prefer celebrate it with a few people. You know, it's always this thing about I feel more comfortable with a few people, the people that I really like. So, for example, this year I went to have a dinner, to have a meal with my parents, just like the three of them, and then I went to with some other friends. So I prefer like the small gathering.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. What my fiance is also like strange about her birthday. Like this year, we like celebrated the weekend before her birthday, and then like on her birthday, we did like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But she
Definitely.
seemed like it seemed like she was okay with that versus like
Yeah,
celebrating on her birthday.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
about the day. So I don't know if you've tried that. Celebrate 2 days early.
Yeah, it can be something, but should not it should be like every day is a celebration, no?
Yeah, yeah. I always see it as just an excuse to like do something
Yeah,
like
yeah, so
yeah.
that's why maybe I don't need the excuses. Anyway,
Mhm.
what can we talk about? I think like yeah, I wanted to talk about this s bit or n difference, like the difference between the sensors and
Okay.
the intuitive. So I don't know if you have any question you want to ask me, like to make
Um,
it clear.
I don't know. Usually we just ask questions, kind of general questions to see how you sort of talk about those sorts of things. Um, what so what's like a concept you find particularly interesting?
My life.
Your life?
I
Your life is a concept?
Is it a concept? No, I don't see psychology. Maybe is it a
Mhm.
concept?
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you like about that?
The discovering of the inner self, the things that are like deep, and
Mhm.
that we don't usually talk about. Also, that's why I'm enjoying so much those Facebook groups, those communities online, because you discuss one more time. Like you also, it's also because like the screen are like far away. Maybe some people like they will share more than when if it was in real life,
Mhm.
because they feel less intimidated maybe to be able to share things that are actually deep. And that's super interesting to meet people that also have a way of thinking different than you. For example, I have this friend that is living in Paris, and she's right now doing also, she's not working anymore. She's like an how can she's calling it like retraite, time for herself, and she's also doing some YouTube videos and everything. And lately she posted about like this her thoughts about is the society of the future in the society of the future, are we still going to work? You know, this big thing about working that is huge in our society. It's like if we evaluate, see the value of someone if he's really able to work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's she was questioning it. She was questioning the terminology we have and all these things that we associate to the work. And especially she was saying things like about like the minimum income. How do you say it in English? Like people getting an income not by working,
Salary
just
or
this idea that people would get an income from the
oh
government, but
yeah. Oh, they've been talking about it as universal basic income kind of stuff. Is that what you're?
exactly.
Yeah.
And she said it was interesting to see during the lockdown that people, when they have nothing to do, actually, they don't do nothing, because we were seeing people
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, they were getting crazy, actually, like being stuck at home and doing nothing. So it was super interesting to see that. And I'm quoting her, it was super interesting to see that we always think that if we give universal income, like people would be like super lazy and do nothing and everything. Of course, there will be people like playing video games the whole day, but many people, they will feel this need to help. For example, that's a
Mm-hmm.
category of people. You have many people that just wanted to help. They contacted the hospital. They saw if they could help, like the elderly people and everything. Many people, I don't know, they felt the need, I don't know, to repair everything in the house, to garden, to, you could see that people, if you make them like do nothing, they do things. Actually, they are not like lazy people, they're actually like doing something. So it was interesting to see that.
Yeah. Didn't I ask you about psychology? What are we talking about now?
It was because you say that you wanted some talk like spontaneous, so I got into it.
Yeah. Do you think about like aspects of psychology when you're teaching, or?
Oh yeah, it helps. It so much helps. Yeah, it helps. Also, it gave me freedom to be who I am. And also, but by getting older, I'm getting also this freedom, you know, to be like going deeper. And for example, I'm using more and more like I'm taking the liberty, the right. I'm letting me being allowed to, for example, talk about a real life thing in class, like not only like the grammatic, the thing we have to do for like school and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
talking really about like the real thing. I don't know, like by reading a book, you have one of the character like living something in his life, and so the students are like asking questions really about really life. And before, when I was younger, it was like maybe freaking me out, like oh my god. And now it's like the most interesting thing to really like talk about the real thing, because I think it's that psychology, it's talking about like the real thing, how the people behave, life.
Mm-hmm. So really just understanding why people are doing things.
Yeah.
Mhm. Uh, did you study psychology at all, or is it more
Oh
like
no,
a
no, no.
hobby type thing?
I could not have studied because first, you know, when you open like for example a medical book, and you think that you have all the pathology, because you read that and you're like, oh my god, I have that, oh my god, I have that.
Yeah.
Have you already know? So that will be for me the same with psychology. I will, especially when you're like in the early 20 of your 20, 21, like when you start like studying like psychology, for example, at the university. it will be like freaking me out to like read about all those things and being like, oh, am I like having some mental trouble and everything? So it will have totally freaked me out. So that's the first reason. And the second is like by studying psychology, like at the college, university, you get to be usually like, except if you are doing some research, you get to be a psychologist. But when people talk about their issues, that's nice. But if one or two talks about it during the day, that's amazing. I can help them and everything. But during the whole day, having some people talking about their issues, especially people that, I have this big thing about, I like to help, but if I feel comfortable helping, I could not like help everybody, like any random person. For example, if you ask me for some help, I will be glad. But if like I will be having my own psychology job as a psychologist, it will be super hard to have a random person coming and talking about his issues and everything. It would be like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I found that idea of it intimidating as well. Just like, oh, anybody can come in here. Honestly, that's like one of the things with these interviews too. I could just, if I don't know these people, just like saying like, hey, I'll interview you if you want. It could just be like some random person I've never met. It's like,
yeah.
But
but I found I super admire like the people doing their job and doing well their job, and that's why as a psychologist, for example, I have my psychiatrist. How do you say? Not psychologist, the one that is a doctor, psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, he's amazing, and so like helped me so much, and so I really like admire the people that are doing their job super well. Also, that's why I find so important, like to be able to find your own path and everything. So, yeah, because we all went to the doctors, to some doctors that were not like the best in their jobs, and it can be actually really hurt the society, like in any job, like people like not being in their own field, and we can have different field during life.
So you think it's important for people to find their lane, so to speak?
It's important for the people and it's important for the society, because it can really hurt people, like for example, having some bad teacher can have some bad consequences.
So hypothetically, were we to be able to type people using like a brain scan or something and suggest them to go into certain career paths, would that be something that you would be supportive of?
Again, type people, yeah, kind of. But the second part, what was it?
So if we're able to type people via a brain scan and then suggest that they go into a certain career path because they have like a natural inclination for something, is that something you would be supportive of?
Yeah, some fields, it's like, I think that deep inside, if you're going for some introspection, you don't need a scan. You know it deep inside. But it's usually the pressure of society, for example, the pressure of, I don't know, having a high status, earning money, or I don't know, or the opposite, having like no money and being unable to study, or I think it's more this kind of thing, because like not all the people are like super aware of themselves. Like I think I'm like more like asking myself a lot of questions and everything, and not everybody is doing it. It's right, but if you want to do it, everybody can do it. I mean,
okay. Yeah, I guess I was proposing some kind of like legislation where everyone is scanned at the age of 10 and then
I have a better option. It will be like the Harry Potter hats.
Yeah, exactly.
That will be how much I have dreamt so much about it when I had to choose a career path. I was like, I need this Harry Potter hat. Really, it will be so much easier.
So you want that hat to be able to tell you which path to go down?
Yeah, yeah, life will be so much easier with like guidelines and everything. Like, if you didn't have like to think too much, like, why do we have to think too much? It's a big question. I think that we have to think too much because of the education, because of we have been like, the education usually make people like less be less spontaneous and everything. We are human beings, that's obvious, so that's also part of the human beings, but it makes people being, like more like less spontaneous, like less listening to themselves, less it's, I think, like the everything is about, when I say education, it's not only the parents, it's the whole society, because otherwise we will all know, like in the perfect world, we will all know what we are good at, and we will all do it, because we will not be, for example, ashamed of what we are, because that's a big topic. Yeah, perfect world. So, and what's your perfect world, Rob?
What's my perfect world?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm okay with this one. It's not perfect, but
I'm not okay with this
I
one.
don't know. Why not?
It's beautiful. I mean, I'm super sensitive, for example, of the beauty of the nature and everything, but also, like what we saw recently about racism and everything, and sexism and everything, that's some big issues also, I think, for the years to come, and and also with the ecology and everything, global warming.
And when you ask me about perfect world, my mind kind of goes to some kind of sci-fi type thing where like a lot of things that have pained people over the years have been kind of automated away. But sci-fi movies always have some kind of crazy shit going on because with advancement comes like other problems. So I don't know. It feels almost. It's kind of like with your planning where if I plan for something to be perfect, like I'm gonna overlook something and it won't be perfect. So why am I trying?
Yeah, I see.
So, yeah.
Rob, I think I will have to go because I'm visiting my sister and I have to take the train.
Oh, okay.
But thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. I had a good time.
It's okay. In a few minutes, we can say bye. It's just like I was preparing.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Just like.
All right. Well, does the chat have any questions that they want to ask before Mathilde heads out to visit her sister? Do you take the train often?
No. Yeah, usually like to work, but otherwise no.
Oh, that's not often though.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What kind of hobbies do you have other than
I play
psychology?
Ultimate Frisbee, as I say, the
Mhm.
yoga. Watching some stuff like everyone, like on Netflix and everything. Dancing. Yeah, lots of hobbies. Also hobbies. I don't know, but lots of are connected with like I will not say hobbies actually. I would say more like activities. If I have to say like my day, like the activities that I'm doing and everything, it's a lot of rest, as I said, like resting and processing, healing. Like talking with people, like that's what makes me like the more happy in the world. Like what we are doing right now, you don't see it, but you make me super happy. Talking with people, exchanging about like ideas, about like what we feel and everything, like that's so important to me, and that's so like fulfilling. And I see that as a person I'm growing, and I can also be, like we can all together make the society grow. And what else? That's what is the most important. But also, like for example, yeah, sometimes I take a walk, and of course, like it's important for the body and to keep in a good shape. But yeah, I think like, and also I take some information on the internet by watching some movies, or like I love watching some biography about people and everything, like getting to know the life of other people. And yeah, that's the kind of activities that I have.
Okay, wait, we have a few questions in the chat here.
Oh
Do you feel like you're doing too much for other people?
no. No, I'm such a selfish person, and I will say no easily if I am, like for example, too much like oh, Mathilde, can you do it, please, please, please. I'm not like the one saying yes just because I'm feeling like I should say yes. I'm more like, I'm tired, I don't want to do it.
Okay. Can you think of something that you did for someone recently?
Saying yes to your interview.
What are you going to do with your sister? Are you going to help her with anything,
Oh,
or are
just
you just
like
hanging out?
have dinner together, trying to tolerate her four sons that are like super young and super like, and yeah, and also hugging them, and they are so cute at the same times, like, and coming back.
Okay. What would be the theme song for your life and why?
Oh, it's the theme of the jungle, the Lion King. Da-da-da-da-da-da. When you're the main theme, I see it as so beautiful. The story of life. I don't know what's the name in English. C'est l'histoire de la vie,
Yeah,
du
the one.
siècle éternel. That's the main theme, and I see
Okay.
it so beautiful because it's the story of life. That everything is, you know, it's new. When you die, other people come, and everything, it's always like, it's a big cycle, a big, like, everything is connected. It's I think it's beautiful.
Circle of life.
The circle of life.
Awesome. I find that
Thank
question
you
kind of
so much.
difficult. You really knew. Oh, do you have to go?
Yeah, kind of.
How about one more question?
Yeah.
What kind of personality are you most attracted to?
Rob personality. No, what
Oh,
kind of personality? Um, getting red. Um, People sensitive. You mean like a romantic? She means a romantic attraction, or
well, she didn't say. So
people sensitive, people caring for each other, like people not too selfish. Maybe I'm selfish enough myself. People with loyalty, and I'm more describing the features than the types. So loyalty, being here for the other people, and sensitive, like having this sensitive. And as I say, when the best friends, you talk to them and they listen, and that's so much a gift in life.
yeah, like someone that's present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they listen with love.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Well, I hope your sister does that for you tonight.
No,
Sounds
she won't.
sounds like
But
the little ones are too
actually,
like frantic to do that yet, but hopefully they'll get there.
she won't. But I love her the way she is. Sometimes you have to. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourself. And I was happy to be here. And yeah, let me know if you have any feedback. I will be super interested. Bye-bye.
Yeah, be sure to fill out the form below. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.